Welcome friend in the next lecture of several variable calculus. In the previous lecture we discussed differentials and some example of a finding differentials. So in the today's lecture we have to discuss the chain rule for two or more variable function. So our today's topic is chain rule. Chain rule. In the last year also we discussed a chain rule for a function of one variable. So if we have a function y is equal to f of x is a one variable function, and here x is equal to g of x, or we can say g of t is a function of variable t. So what we take here, y is equal to f of x and here x is equal to g of t. Then what we can say that f and g both are differentiable. Then we write the chain rule. So what is chain rule? We have to find the derivative dy by dt. Suppose we have to find the derivative dy by dt, then what we can say that here df by dx into dx by dt, we can write this like this. That is, here y is function of x and x is function of t, then we can say that this y is function of f of g of t. That means what? It is a composite function. Y is a composite function of t. That is, y is function of t. Here both the functions are differentiable. Therefore we can use the chain rule for differentiating this composite function, and this chain rule is dy by dt is equal to df by dx into dx by dt, you can write. Okay, so what we write here, chain rule for one variable, or we can write this f, that is dy by dt is equal to dy by dx into dx by dt also. That is, this f can be written, it is in the form of y also. Okay, now we see the similar chain rule for the function of two or more variables. There are several chain rules are there, because suppose we have a z is a function of two variable. Now there are some cases, suppose this x is function of again a one variable and y is also function of one variable. Okay, or we can write the second case, this x is again a function of two variable st, we can write, and this y is also function of two variable. That means there are several chain rules are there, because for the function of two variable there are so many cases. That is, if z is function of two variable, then this two variable may be function of one variable, or they may be function of two variable, they may be function of three variable, four variable, and so on. Similarly, you can write for the z is function of three variable, then these three variables is again a function of one variable, they are function of two variable, three variable, and so on. That means there are several chain rules are there for function of two or more variables. So we discuss one by one. Okay. Now we discuss the chain rule case first. So the chain rule case 1. So what is the statement? let z is equal to f of xy is a differentiable function, it is a differential function of x and y, where what, x is equal to g of t and y is equal to h of t are differentiable function. They are differentiable functions of, they are again a differentiable functions of t. Then what we can say, then z is a differentiable function of t, and what we can write here, z is a function of one variable, so dz by dt it is equal to, now this z is function of two variable, and then this x and y are the function of what, one variable. Therefore this z is a composite function of this one variable. Therefore we write here dz by dt it is equal to, now this f is function of two variable, so dabba f by dabba x into what we can write dx by dt. Why d here? Because x is a function of one variable, therefore it is t. D we are taking, if this f is function of two variable or more variable, then we write it is a dabba, ordinary derivatives and partial derivatives. So again dabba f by dabba y into what we can write dy by dt. Now we prove this theorem. It is very important theorem. This can be asked for 5 marks for the examination. So do prepare this exam, prepare this theorem properly. Okay. So how we write this? Let, what we can do, suppose we have to take a change in t. Let delta t be the change in t. Then what we can write, delta x and delta y. Delta x and delta y are the corresponding means what, this t increases, therefore delta x and delta y is also increases or increment will be there, are corresponding change in x and y respectively. And this delta x and delta y changes, that means what, this delta z must be, therefore there z must be changes, therefore then the delta z is the corresponding increment in z. That means this delta x and delta y are also the increment, therefore delta z also increment in a corresponding increment in z. Okay. Therefore by the definition of delta z, we get what we are getting, delta z is equal to, so write down the definition of differentiability. It is dabba f by dabba, what we can write, x into what, into delta x plus dabba f by dabba y delta y plus what we can write, epsilon 1 delta x plus epsilon 2 delta y. This is equation number 1, where what we can write, this epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 tends to 0 as what, delta x delta y, this delta x, delta y tends to 0, 0. Already we discussed this definition. Now divide both sides by delta t. We get, divide both sides by delta t, then what we are getting? Delta z by delta t is equal to what? Delta f by delta x into delta x by delta t plus delta f by delta y plus into what? Delta y by delta t plus epsilon 1 delta x by delta t plus epsilon 2 delta y by delta t. This is equation number 2. Okay, this is equation number 2. Again we have to write where what? Where epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 tends to 0 as delta x, delta y tends to 0, 0. Again same we are written here. Now what is next? If we take limit delta t tends to 0. Suppose we are taking both sides, the limit of both sides delta t tends to 0. Then what happens? Then what is our delta x? Delta x is equal to g of t plus delta t minus what? G of t tends to 0. This tends to 0. This difference tends to, this increment tends to 0 because it is differential, because what? This g is, because g is differential and hence continuous. Okay, again similarly we can write this for delta y is equal to h of t plus delta t minus h of t tends to 0. Again here we can write the, because h is differentiable and hence taking limit of equation 2, what we are getting? This dx dz by dt, it is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta z by delta t. So what is the delta z by delta t? It is nothing but the limit of this. So we write delta f by delta x, limit delta t tends to 0 delta x by delta t plus, again write down why we are not writing limit for this. Why it is? Because this delta f by y, this must be y, it is not depends on delta t, is it? Therefore limit delta t tends to 0 delta y by delta t. Epsilon is again depends on delta t, therefore delta t tends to 0. Epsilon 1 into what? This limit delta t tends to 0. What is it? Delta x by delta t plus limit, or what? Delta t tends to 0 epsilon 2. This epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 also tends to 0 as delta x delta y tends to 0. Therefore they are depends on delta x and delta y, we can write. So it is epsilon 2 and it is limit delta t tends to 0 delta what? Y by delta t. And now write the definition, that is delta f by delta x, into what? Into this is nothing but our dx by dt plus this is dA by f by dA by y. It is what? dy by dt plus this limit is 0 into what we can write here? Delta dx by dt plus 0 into dy by dt, and therefore we are getting dz by dt is equal to dA by f by dA by x into dx by dt plus dA by f by dA by y dy by dt, and this is the completion of the proof. Okay, so what we write here, just we are taking the limit delta t tends to 0 and use the definition of differentiability. Therefore you are getting this y here dz and y here dA, because this z is function of one variable, composite function of a one variable t, and we are differentiating z with respect to t. It is one variable function, therefore t. But this x and y, that this is the composite function, therefore we are write this chain rule. Okay, so if it is ordinary derivative, then it is d. If it is partial, then it is dA. Partial when more than two variables or two or more variables are there, and ordinary derivative if it is a one variable function. Okay, so we often write this dA f by dA f by dA x and dA f by dA y, or instead of this we are writing dA z by dA x and dA z by dA y. That is, f can be replaced by z. Then we are getting the one more version of this chain rule first. That means how we write this? How we write this? dz by dt is equal to dA z by dA x dx by dt plus dA z by dA y dz by dy by dt. That means what? This f can be oftenly written, it is z. Therefore we have there is a one more version of chain rule, case 1. So we solve some example on this chain rule first. Okay, we solve the first problem. What is the first problem? Z is equal to x square y plus 3x y raised to 4, where x is equal to sin 2t, y is equal to cos t. Find dz by dt when t is equal to 0. So what we have given? Given z is equal to x square y plus 3xy raised to 4. 3xy raised to 4. And what we have given? X is equal to sin 2t, y is equal to cos t. Now what we can see here, where z is equal to f of xy is differentiable function. It is a differential function of x and y, and what we can say, x and y are functions of t. Hence what we have to use? This z is function of two variables and these two variables are function of one variable. Therefore it is a composite, z is a composite function of t, and therefore we have to use chain rule case 1. We use chain rule case 1. So what we have? dz by dt, it is equal to what? Suppose we try to draw the tree diagram. So z is a function, z is function of what? It is a, z is function of x and y. Z is function of two variable, and this one where this is a function of what? This is a function of, x is function of one variable, and this y is also function of two variable. That is tree diagram it is. Now in this tree diagram, that is graph theory, we are using here for memorizing the chain rule. So what this branches shows? This branches shows that this z is a function of x and y. And these two branches shows this x and y are the function of t. Therefore write down this partial derivative daba z by daba what? X is here. Here daba z by daba y, and here is ordinary derivative d, what we can write, dx by dt, and here also dy by dt. And how we find the chain rule now? Chain rule 1, that is we have to take the one first part, that is z x t. So we have to take the product of the first part and we have to add into the product of the second part. Okay, so what we can write? First part daba z by daba x into dx by dt, plus again we write this is similarly daba z by daba y, and here its partial derivative is dy by dt, dy by dt. So this is very important. Just you have to take the product of this, and you have to add this. Now prove the derivatives dz by dt. It is equal to. Now what is daba z by daba x? This is our z. So differentiate this with respect to x, keeping y constant. So it is 2xy plus 3y raised to 4 into what? Dx by dt. So take derivative of this with respect to t. Dx by dt is what? Derivative of sine. Derivative of sine 2t. It is what? Cos of 2t into what? Into 2. Chain rule again you have to use here also. Into 2 plus what we can write here? Now it is daba z by daba y. So derivative of this with respect to y, that is what? X square plus what? 4 3s are 12x y raised to 3 into what? Dy by dt, cos derivative is minus sin t. Okay, now what we have to find? We have to find dz by dt at t is equal to 0. So put t is equal to 0, we get. So find this x and y first. So x is equal to, it is what? Sine 2 into t. So it is sine 0. It is equal to what? Sine 0 is 0, and y is equal to cos 0. It is equal to 1. Put this value in this equation. What we are getting? Dz by dt. What point? At point t is equal to 0, and it is equal to what? Just put the values. 2 into derivative, that is x is 0 into what? 1 plus 3 into 1 raised to 4 cos what? 2 into this 2 into cos 2t means what? Cos 0, is it? Plus what? X square, x is 0 plus 12 into 0 into 1 raised to 3 into what? Minus sine 0. Okay, so what we are getting here? It is 0 plus 3 into 2 into what? 1 plus this is 0, this is again 0. What should be this? 3 2s are 6. Therefore, what we are getting? Dz by dt at t is equal to 0, it is equal to 6. Okay? So, we have to use the chain rule and we have to solve the problems. We will take one more problem on this. Okay, so we solve a second problem on chain rule. First, So first we read the problem. The pressure P in kilopascals, pressure in kilopascals, volume V in liters and temperature T in Kelvin. Okay, we have given three quantities: pressure, volume and temperature of a mole of an ideal gas are related by the equation. All these quantities are related by the equation PV is equal to 8.31 T. Find the rate at which the pressure is changing. So we have to find the rate at which the pressure is changing. That is rate of change of pressure. Rate of change of pressure when the temperature is given 300 Kelvin and increasing at a rate of 0.1 kilopascal, kilo per second, and increasing at a rate of 0.1 Kelvin per second, and the volume is 100 liter and increasing at a rate of 0.2 liter per second. That means what we have given here, P is given and we have to find what pressure is changing, means what rate of change of pressure we have to find. That is dP by dt. dP by dt we have to find. What T? That is the time. That means what we have taken, suppose let T is a time elapse at P is a time, T represent a time elapse in second, then at this instant, what we have given, suppose T is a time. So what we have is at this our temperature is what, 300 Kelvin and increasing at a rate of, that means what, temperature is increasing, that means what, dt by dt is given. That is rate of change of temperature, that it is equal to 0.1 Kelvin per second. Similarly, what we have given, volume is equal to 100 liter and what we have given, and this is nothing but increasing at a rate, that is dV by dt is equal to 0.2 liter per second. That is rate of change of V and T is given. And now what we have given also, we have given a equation, that is PV is equal to 8.31. And what we have to find, change in pressure. So we solve this for pressure 8.31 into T by V. Here what we can see, that this P is a function of T and V. That is temperature and volume, and this temperature and volume are again a function of what, time. Therefore we use here first chain rule. That is here what we can write, P is function of two variables T and V, and T and V are functions of T, or we can say time T in second. That is, this time is in seconds. Hence we use chain rule. Chain rule 1, case 1 we can write. dp by dt, it is equal to what? This p is function of two variable, therefore dabba p by dabba t into dt by d small t plus this p is again a function of v, therefore dv by dt, again v is function of. Now just put the values, dabba p by dabba t. So find from this equation what? Dabba p by dabba t. It is given? Not? So find out this dabba p by dabba t, derivative of this p with respect to what? T. Derivative of t is 1. So it should be 8.31 upon v into, derivative is 1. Derivative is 1 into dt by this, it is what? 0.1 plus what we can write here? Derivative of this with respect to v, it is minus 1 upon v. This should be, or it can be written in the form of 8.31 t into 1 upon v. Now this is constant, so 1 upon v derivative is minus 1 by v square. Therefore write down this 8.31 t into what? Minus 1 upon v square into what? This dv by dt, it is 0.2. Now just put the values of all this t and v, 8.31, value of v is 100 into 0.1 plus 8.31 into what? Value of t is 300 Kelvin into minus 1 upon 100 square. This should be 100 square into 0.2. And now solve this, you are getting the answer. Okay. So answer should be minus 0.4155. After solving this, we get a minus 0.04155. So our change in P is this. That is the pressure is changing. And here is a minus sign, therefore it is decreasing. It is decreasing. Therefore the pressure is decreasing. It is decreasing by an amount 0.04155. It is in kilopascal. Why here decreasing? Because answer is negative. Okay. In the similar way, we can solve so many problems of the differentiation of a composite functions. So we stop. Thank you.